Hey everybody, it's me Liv. So today I decided to do my voiceover while I'm out in my backyard enjoying some lovely summer weather. So I hope you don't mind the birds chirping in the background. So what I'm going to be doing today is actually creating a set of cards in a mixed media style using the Cosmic Shimmer paints that come with the Tres Jolie's mixed media kit. So what I want to do first is I pretty much put it on my glass mat, and I'm solely just going to tap it here on a piece of plastic. You can use any plastic. This is some leftover plastic that I have from a wrapper in my stash. So now that I have this one pretty much covered, I am then going to take out a little bit of this purple one, and I felt like some of my ink was pooling up on my other card, so I'm just taking that down. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my purple one. So a little bit of a mistake that I did here, but I actually ended up loving how it came out, is that because I squashed too many of the colors together all at the same time, didn't dry in between, it ended up giving me this very gray level of color, which, at first I was like, oh, how am I going to salvage this? But once I started playing with it, I realized that I would be able to salvage it by adding a layer of color on it. Now, if you see me here, all I'm doing is simply taking my heat gun and very quickly trying to dry off the base of the cards. So again, back to this gray little mess that I created. What I'm going to do is go ahead and again take out each color, and then this time, instead of squashing all the colors together, I'm going to make sure that I do one color at a time. So here I am putting the blue on. Now, I haven't really used these Cosmic Shimmer inks that much, but one thing I found that was really interesting is how the layers and colors stay on top of each other when you do it individually and dry like this in between versus automatically melting in together. So that's really cool if you do like using mixed media, is to know what's going to actually stay its own bright vibrant color versus blend together. So you can see here now I've moved on to that marigold color, and it's really popping against this gray. So sometimes the great thing about doing mixed media is that you get these beautiful creations that you just never know exactly what's going to come out of it. And then finally, I'm going to go in with that purple and just dab it all around and get that set as well. So this is what the final background ended up coming out like, and I have to say I really, really love it. So now that I have that all set, I'm actually going to be cleaning up my mess and then moving on to using some of my other products here. But of course, I couldn't go without doing some sort of splatter and at least one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on this blue and green one, as well as this yellow, green, and blue one, just to get a little bit more depth of those splatters on the backgrounds. Now, I don't know about you, but I love to actually combine my kits and stretch them out to use them even more. So the Tres Jolie's kit for the month of July, the scrapbooking kit, ended up having these gorgeous rub-ons that came. So I'm actually going to be using these rub-ons here on my cards. And this is a very, very great and simple way to not have too many layers, especially if you're planning to mail out your cards, because we all know how much stamps are costing a lot lately here. And it just adds a pop of a design that goes so nicely. So now that I've trimmed these out, I'm going to show you how I'm going to apply the rub-ons. Now, these rub-ons are your old school rub-ons. You just got to have that popsicle stick out and really lay it down. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it's down as much as possible. You might see there's a couple of little pieces that didn't lift up. Again, because this is a mixed media style, I'm actually just taking the excess and rubbing it all around to create even more types of depth here on this particular card. And then I'm going to move on to doing the same exact thing onto the other one. So again, just take your piece, lay it down, and go ahead and rub it onto the back of your card. If you're doing something very specific that does require that you put a little bit more even pressure, feel free to. But if you're doing a style of card like this, it's definitely okay to have a little residue that stays on, and you can just put it somewhere else on the background. So now that I have that all set, I'm going to go ahead and just ink up a little bit more of the sides to make some of the colors really pop out. So for here, I'm just taking out my distress ink, and as you see, I'm going to be just ink all the edges. As you could probably figure out from my design, white is just a color I struggle with, besides to use a splatter. So I just love to see how the bright colors come. So now that I've gotten all that set, let's move on to creating the last bits. Because these particular cards don't have anything specific in regards to a lot of different elements, I'm going to go ahead and pop it up with some foam tape just to give it a little bit more definition, and go ahead and then move on to using a couple of die cuts. So as you can see, once I have my die cuts cut out of this paper, I'm going to go ahead and add it. I did feel like the overall card was a tad bit dark, so by using these light colored die cuts, it really just kind of gave it more of a pop of color, as well as some different dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down and then put the sentiment right on top. And I thought I'd zoom in just so you can get a real look at the textures and the colors that are popping up from this gorgeous card. So as a reminder, the Tres Jolie website has 3 different kits: a scrapbooking kit, a card making kit, and a mixed media one. Here you see me combined both the mixed media and scrapbooking ones. I hope you guys enjoyed these cards, and thank you so much for watching. Take care, guys.